Namaste friends, Hari Om. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gururdevo Maheshwaraha Gurur Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Om. Namaste friends, a warm welcome to today's session on the Drik, Drishya, Viveka. To just restate what this text is going to teach us, it emphasizes the distinction between the unchanging conscious witness, the Drik, and the ever-changing world of objects, experiences, and states of mind, the Drishya. It guides the reader or the learner to realize that the true self is not the ego, the body or mind or the senses, but the unchanging, all-pervading Atma or Brahman. The text also explains how ignorance or avidya veils our true nature and leads to identification with the changing world, causing suffering. Through rigorous self analysis and meditation, of which we're going to learn a lot today, the text encourages the learner to experience the identity of the individual, the jiva, with the universal self, the Brahman. Today's speakers will be Dr. Anupama ma'am, Dr. Srimati Sukanya ma'am, and Dr. Sanjay Mehrotra. The class will be moderated by our dear teacher, Dr. Hegde sir. Before we go into today's class, I request Dr. Anupama ma'am to please help us recollect what we studied last week. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Panagha. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. A quick recap of verses 17 to 20 of this beautiful text, Drik, Drishya, Viveka. You can see on this slide that there are threefold seers which are an integral part of every individual. And of these three, Satya Sakshi, which is Vastavam, is my real nature. Ignorance of this draws me to identify with seers 1 and 2, which are Mayikam. But we are an inseparable mixture of this absolute and relative Drik, Sakshi, plus mind and sense organs, which are called Ahankara. Viveka is the knowledge of their difference with which I can intellectually separate them. Aviveka is ignorance, a subjective error which leads to samsara. The topic discussed here is samsara karana and remedy for this samsara. We see that all the time we are making two fundamental errors. One is a subjective error which is internal, the other, the objective error which is external. Now, what are these? The subjective error is when I fail to identify with Sakshi and I don't know I am Purna. I become dependent on the world for pseudo-Purnatvam and I start seeking support from outside. The objective error is the fake belief that the perishable world can support me. Now, the subjective cause of samsara is aviveka at the level of seer 3 or sakshi and seers 1 and 2. The inability to differentiate my mayikam aspect from the vastavam at the subjective level. So I'm not able to identify with sakshi, and instead of knowing I'm purna, I believe I am seer 1 and 2 and suffer from a deep sense of insecurity. Why does this happen? Due to the concealing effect of the avarana shakti of Maya, instead of claiming Sakshi, I identify with seers 1 and 2. In this verse, we have seen the phrase Antaha Drik Drishya Yoho Vedam Avrata Avrunoti aparashakti. Aparashakti here is the avarana shakti. Satya Mithya difference is concealed by avarana shakti. The finite, changing, unreliable, mayikam body-mind complex, which is fraught with problems, becomes the stuff that I identify with. And with this, I also identify with the problems of my body-mind complex. This problem is called jivatvam or samsara. So instead of knowing I am Chidananda, Rupa Shivoham, which is Brahmatvam, I wallow in great depths of Raga, Dvesha, Kama, Krodha, which is otherwise called Jivatvam or Samsara. What is the consequence of this error? I start seeking perfection. I seek permanence in the Mithya Ahankara. I try to control that which is totally controlled by karma. And I, as seer 1 and 2, become a slave of my prarabdha. So what should I do? Disidentify from seers 1 and 2. Claim seer 3. How? By Atma Jnanam. The second, the objective cause of samsara, is aviveka at the level of Brahma, and sarga means creation. The inability to distinguish the vastavam adhishtanam Brahma in the universe, with the universe, from the mayikam nama rupa sarga. As a result, I rely upon this nama rupa sarga for security. This is reliance upon the unreliable, which only lends disappointment to my life. Truth being, tayor madhye vikaraha. All changes belong only to sarga. Brahmani kvachitanasti. There is no vikara in Sat Brahman. So why are we drawn to this vikara? Because it is attractive, it is changing, and although all vikaras belong to Nama Rupa, we get so focused on that. Like we see a pair of hands, unmoving hands, which go unnoticed compared to the moving hands, which are so attractive. So, but we should know that in Brahman, kvachita vikaraha na asti. Tata sarga brahmano cha veda avritya tishtati. This is the consequence. The vastavam, isness of every object, is not seen as discrete from the savikara mithya nama rupa. The changes in sarga, the creation, get transferred to Brahman. And what do we think? Brahma vikaratvena bhasate. We focus on Brahman, the focus on Brahman as the vikara is lost. So vikaratvam means vikritvam, or means modification. So we think Brahma, this is called Brahma Prapanca confusion. Starting all over again, we see the cause of samsara is ajnanam. Cause of this ajnanam is the avarana shakti. And what does this avarana shakti do? Satya, Anrita, Mithuni Karanam. We get thoroughly confused between what is real and what is not real. And the result of this is Drik, Drishya, Aviveka from within ourselves, and Brahma Sarga, Aviveka from outside. We should therefore realize that everything we experience has 5 components. Asti, the Sat or isness, the Satta Sambandha, Bhati, the Chit awareness or the known aspect of it, the Chaitanyam Sambandha, and Priyam, the Ananda Swarupam. The other 2 are the Nama and Rupa, name and form, which belong to the Mithya, Jagat, and it is the Drishyam aspect. The practical problems of Avarana Shakti is samsara. Subjective error causes insecurity, and I start seeking security from where? The changing insecure world. The objective error is I don't realize that the world is not secure. And what is the remedy? Drik, Drishya, Viveka, or Jnanam. And this Jnanam is at 2 levels. The subjective Jnanam, Vastava, Sakshi, should be differentiated from the Mayika body-mind complex. I should know that all the time my vision is through Sakshi and not through the seers 1 and 2, the sense organs and body-mind complex. This is called Drik, Drishya Viveka or Tvam Pada Viveka. And at the objective level, Brahman, I should know, is Vastavam and Prapanca is Mayikam. This is called Tat Pada Viveka. Message being, be a Nitya Triptaha. this correction of subjective error, and B, nir-ashraya, this is correction at the objective level. Enjoy Maya, rely upon Brahman, not Jagat. Aviveka of Mithya Nama Rupa causes samsara. We sit on the cardboard chair and fall. Viveka of unreliability of Nama Rupa Prapanca gives us the Jnanam that it is not worth sitting upon a falling chair. Finally, we have heard in Krishna's words, Tyaktva karmapalam asangam nitya triptaha nirashrayaha karmanyabhi pravrittaha api naiva kinchit karoti saha. A Jivan Mukta is one who has nitya tripti. This is the subjective correction, and nirashraya, the objective correction. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Anupama, for a very nice recap of the verses in the last class with beautiful slides and a lot of animations. Sada Shiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Pariyantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om. What a privilege to be able to study Drik, Drishya, Viveka. In the last class, we studied this most quoted verse, Asti Bhati Priya Rupam Namached Amsha Panchaka. That means everything in this world has got 5 components. What are they? Adhyatraya Brahma Rupi. Adhyatraya. The first 3 is Sat-chit-ananda Jagat Rupi Patodvaya. That means everything that you see has got Asti Bhati Priya Nama Rupa. But why is there so much of differences? There is this beautiful poem by Rabindranath Tagore, which is titled as Life of My Life. What is the life force in all of us? As students of Vedanta, the life force or that enlivening force is Atma. And let us go through what Rabindranath Tagore had to say. I shall ever try to keep my body pure, knowing that thy living touch is upon all my limbs. I shall ever try to keep all untruths out of my mind, knowing that thou art the truth which has kindled the light of reason in my mind. I shall ever try to drive all evil from my heart and keep my love in flower, knowing that thou hast thy seat in the inmost shrine of my heart. And it shall be my endeavor to reveal thee through my actions, knowing it is thy power that gives me strength to act life of my life. Now, let us see how we can work on this, how each one of us are able to manifest the divine in and through every thought, every word, every action. More than thought, word, and action, can we come to be able to manifest without thoughts, without words, and without any actions. There is a story from the life of Sri Krishna. For all of us students of Vedanta, a very popular story. Rukmini, Krishna's wife, had one major problem, and that problem was she asked him, why are you spending less time with me and you're spending more time in that flute of yours? What is there in that flute which I do not have? And Krishna replies, the flute is so empty. It is said whenever you are empty, empty means what? Empty with the sense of I. Whenever I am so full of I-ness, there is no place for the Lord. And therefore, one of the most beautiful ways to manifest life of my life is to be able to be empty of that sense of I and allow the Lord to manifest through you. 2 verses, one of this beautiful verse from the Sharirika Brahmana of Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, which we also studied in Tripti Deepa. Atmanam Ched Vijaniyat Ayam Asmiti Purushaha. Purushaha is the body mind or seer 1 and seer 2. If the seer 1 and seer 2 somehow Ched, if it is able to discover I am Atmanam, that means I am not seer 1 or 2, I'm not this body-mind, but I am that Atma. Then there is a shift in from Vyavahara to Paramarthika. Once you have transcended to a higher level, Kim Icchan Kasya Kamaya. There is no desire in me, and there is no objective desire because everything in this world becomes mithya. Kasya kamaya shariram anusamjarit. Now, what is there to do for a person who has now evolved into the paramarthik? Such a person is free from all forms of samsara, even though his body mind may go through jvara, his body mind may go through various situations brought out by prarabdha, but that anujvara, the exaggeration that comes because of the body mind complex, that is not there. Bhagwan Ramana in the Upadesha Sara had done another very quotable verse. Nashta manasam utkrishta yoginaha. Utkrishta yoginaha. I always quote Swami Anubhavananda ji for this verse. He says, Utkrishta yoginaha is the highly evolved yogi who is able to master the mind to such an extent that now mind has now become a slave and not disruptive at all. It is useful, just like when I'm completely involved in a program like this, I keep my mobile in a silent mode. It is still working for me, but it does not disturb me. It is functionally useful, but it does not interrupt my activity. So if I'm able to control my mind to that extent, it is available for me when I want it because it is a great instrument. But now it is no longer a problematic mind. And that is the understanding of Nashta Manasa. Krityam Astikim. What is there to do? What is there to prove? I have nothing to prove. Swastitim Yataha. That means Yataha, that person who has abided in seer number 3. In Drik, Drishya, Viveka, all of us have to move from sense organs to mind to the Atma or consciousness. And to be able to see, you're listening to me, and are you listening through your ears? Is it your mind who's listening? Or is it that Sakshi? And when I come to the Sakshi, can I abide in that Sakshi as I am that? That is what is called Utkrishta Yoginaha, that person who has abided in the Sakshi. We come back to the topic of Drik, Drishya, Viveka. Now, the Aviveka or the discrimination that has to be done is called Drik Viveka and Drishya Viveka. Drik Viveka, that means I'm seeing so many things around me. I'm hearing, I'm able to experience so many things. Is this hearing, seeing, touching, experiencing, is it happening at the level of my sense organs and mind like we normally do? Or can we go back to Kenopanishad, which says Pratibodha Viditam Matam? You're hearing my voice. You can see so many things around. Ask yourself, of course, I'm able to see it because of the mind, but my mind is able to see because of Atma or the Sakshi. In every experience, if I can become aware of the experiencer and log on to that experiencer and be established, swastitim, that means be established in that higher self, that is what is called Drik Viveka, where I become a discrimination that who is seeing, is it my body, mind, or is it the heart? In today's class, we will learn something about open eye meditation. That means I am seeing the world around. And when I see the world around, am I seeing the constantly changing world? Or whenever I see anything in the world, can I become aware of one thing which is constant in every object that I see? What is the common factor in every object that I can see? I can see every object because there is light on that object. And because of light on that object, I'm able to see. Of course, that light I'm able to see because of consciousness. And if you really go, my consciousness has lent existence, consciousness lends existence. Ultimately, if I'm able to see everything as Sarvam Kaluvidam Brahma, everything is Brahman, or as Ishavasya says, Ishavasyam idam sarvam. Or in the 11th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, as I'm able to see Sri Krishna in everything that I see. My sarvam idam protam sutre manigana eva. I am imperceptibly there in and through everything. If I'm able to have that divya chakshu, then I have what is called Drishya Viveka. Then what happens? There is a beautiful verse which will come. Wherever, yatra yatra manoyati, wherever my mind takes me, whether the mind takes me inner or whether my mind takes, yatra yatra manoyati, vijnati paramatmani. That means I have got this awakening into my higher self. Tatra tatra samadhaya. That means you are in samadhi, whether inward or whether outward. We have come to that state. The teaching has been given. The teacher has done his job. Now the teacher says goodbye and goes, because from now on, if I have got Nischaya Jnanam, that I have the ability to discriminate who is the seer and what is that I am seeing. I'm not seeing any object, but in every object there is Asti Bhati Priya, and Nama Rupa is only that distinguishing feature. Then once this truth is given to me, then let us see what Yoga Vashishta has this to say. Tad chintanam, tad katanam, anyon tad prabodhanam, etad deka paratvamcha Brahma Abhyasa Vidur Buddhaha. Wise people say, what is Nididhyasanam? Whatever you think about, whatever you speak about, whenever you discuss with others, whenever you teach somebody, let there be only one purpose. That is to be aware of Asti Bhati Priya in and through whatever I do. And this is what is called Nididhyasanam. This is the highest form of sadhana that we can possibly be. We will look at more verses today, 21 to 24. The opening verse 21 will be by Sukanya. Sukanya ji, please.
Hari Om. Thank you, sir. So in the last session, it's been repeatedly explained that all our experiences of the world is a combination of 5 components: Asti, Bhati, Priyam, and Nama Rupa. Asti, isness, existence; Bhati, knownness backed by consciousness; and Priyam, limitless Ananda, with the understanding that Asti, Bhati, Priyam belong to Brahman, and the other 2 components, Nama Rupa, are only appearances belonging to the world. Adhyatrayam Brahmarupam, Tatodvayam Jagadrupam. Our ability to see Asti Bhati Priyam in every experience is Vishwarupa Darshan of Ishvara. But our problem is non-discrimination of the real and the non-real, Vastavam and Mayakam, due to the concealing power of Maya, Avarana Shakti. This is caused at 2 levels. At the subjective level, non-discrimination between Sakshi Chaitanyam and the body-mind complex, and at the objective level between changeless Brahman and the changing Nama Rupa. So never hold on to Nama Rupa, anchor on Sat-chit-ananda with a vision. Everything that I see is nothing other than Ishvara. Isha Vasyamidam Jagat. This multiplicity of illusion can be sorted out only through Guru, Shastra, Upadesha, Sravanam and Mananam. In the context of these 5 components in every world experience, the topic of creation is taken up in this verse. Verse goes like this. Kavyagni jalor visho, deva teriyang naradisho, abhinna Satchidananda, vidyate rupanamane. In all the insentient and sentient beings, these 5 components are there. The first 3 components are changeless and uniform, and the next 2 are not uniform. Verse meaning is like this. Kavyagni jalor visho. In all the Panchabhutas, space, wind, fire, water, earth, and also in the sentient beings, Asti Bhati Priyam is there. Wherever Sat is there, Chit is also there. Asti presupposes Bhati. Existence presupposes knowledge, which is associated with consciousness. Where mind is there, Sat manifests as Chit. Where mind is absent, Sat is there, but Chit does not manifest because of the absence of the medium. Therefore, Sat-chit-ananda are non-different, abhinna. The original Atmananda is same in every being. Pratibimba Ananda changes based on the gunas associated with the mind. Experiential Ananda is a reflection of the original Ananda, which is uniform. This is explained in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Atmanastu Kamaya Sarvam Priyam Bhavate. Atma is the source of perennial Ananda. So it's worth knowing Atma. For the sake of self, all is dear. There is no others. Atmananda is universal law. The next word in the verse is Devatiriyang Naradisho. In all these different grades of beings, that is Devatas, celestials, who are superior. Animals, Tiyak, because they have no mind and free will. They are inferior. And humans, the intermediary ones. In all of them, Satchidananda Abhinna. Only Namarupani Vidyate. Here, Ananda is referred to as Atmananda. Our fundamental problem is the Granthi, series of problems we are born with, like avidya, kama, karma, due to avarana shakti of Maya, not anchoring onto the Sat-chit aspect, but identifying with the changing nama rupa forms of the world is the problem. Hence, this topic of creation is introduced here. How creation is understood as per Advaita Vedanta and how the other philosophers' view is explained in this verse. According to Sankhya, Atma Anatma are named Purusha Prakriti. Atma is all-pervading but resides separately in every body. But according to Advaita, there's one non-dual, all-pervading, changeless Atma. In Advaita philosophy, creation is understood as an evolvement in stages. This is Adhyaropa Apavada method. Next slide, sir. Arambhavada. God is all-powerful creator, Eka Rupa Ishvara. Next, Parinamavada. Through the process of transformation from unmanifest to manifest, Jagat is the effect. This is Vishvarupa Ishvara. Next, Vivartavada, world is seen as an illusion, just a dream. Vishvam Darpana Drishyamana Nagari. Finally, Ajativada, there is no such thing as creation. Brahma Satyam, Jagan Mithyam. World is like a bubble, negating all the attributes superimposed. So don't rely on the world for permanent security. The final message is, this world is only Namarupa Mithya, like a well-decorated cardboard chair. It brings in endless, delightful, and enduring objects. Mind alone is the cause for this delusion, which gives rise to Ahankara and Mamakara. Swamiji says, convert Ahankara to Vesha, that is costume, life to a drama, and see the world as a stage. Don't depend on the world for peace, security, and happiness. Claim Sat-chit-ananda. Pure consciousness is thus revealed through the process of discrimination and intellectual segregation of the 5 components. In the next verse, the author suggests 6 types of Samadhi Abhyasas. Hari Om.
Thank you. Thank you, Sukanya, for a nice explanation of this particular verse, where the question is, every object in the world has got these 5 components, Asti, Bhati, Priya, Nama, Rupa. But why is there so much of differences? All inanimate objects do not have the mind. And when they don't have the mind, they are able to reflect only the Sat aspect. Plants and animals have a certain amount of life. Animals and birds have much more. And therefore, depending upon the kind of evolution in the mind, they are able to manifest not only the existence aspect, but also the consciousness aspect. Human beings have the ability to manifest not only Sat, Chit, and they can manifest the Ananda aspect also. That is why the glory of human being is the ability to manifest both Sat, Chit, and Ananda. And that is why we need to be able to see if you are a human being, can we be able to manifest to the fullest? We'll proceed to the next verse. So, Kanya, please.
Yes, sir. As said in the earlier verse, all our experiences have 5 components, Sat-chit-ananda. The first 3 are the Brahma Rupam, absolute, unchanging reality. And the next 2 Rama Rupa are Jagat Rupam, Mithya, ever-changing. In spite of having gained this knowledge through Shravanam, People are unable to clearly discriminate because they don't own up with Brahma Swarupam. Instead, they get attracted towards Maya, identify themselves with the changing Dharma Rupa of the world, and suffer emotional disturbances. This is Avarana Shakti of Maya. The ability to discriminate between Satyam and Mithyam is the solution. The rational mind has gained knowledge through Shastra, Sravana, Manana, but the emotional mind is not ready to withdraw from world support. Ajnanajanya Satya Anrita Aviveka eva Samsarasya Karanam. To overcome this, Swamiji has suggested repeated and continuous Sravanam and Mananam, which leads to alert living and internalization of the knowledge. This is called Samadhi Roopa Nidhidhyasanam, absorption of Atma-related thoughts. Continuing further, during Shravanam, the words Atman and Brahman should be replaced with I, because all the characteristics of the Atman which we come across while Shravanam are our own. This is possible by intellectually dropping all our transactional roles and deliberately entertaining Atma Swarupa thoughts. This is emphasized in the Shloki. Na mata pita vana devana loka na vedana yagnana tirtam bruvante sushuptau nirastadi shunyatmakatvat tadeko vasishta shiva kevaloham. After negation of Nama Rupa, what remains is the pure consciousness, the I. Next slide, sir. Swamy Vidyaranya suggests a unique method of 6 types of Samadhi Rupa Nidhidhyasana. They are Antardrishya Anuviddha Savikalpa Samadhi, Antarshabda Anuviddha Savikalpa Samadhi, Nirvikalpa Samadhi, and Bahya Drishya Anuviddha Savikalpa Samadhi, Bahya Shabda Anuviddha Savikalpa Samadhi, and finally Bahya Nirvikalpa Samadhi. These practices are really not mandatory, but for such seekers for whom knowledge gained through Shravanam and Mananam is not internalized and the emotional weaknesses continue, any one of the above Samadhi Abhyasas is suggested by the author. And in the process, the words Brahman and Atman, which appeared during Shravanam, are replaced by Aham as mentioned earlier. These 6 Abhyasas are presented in a chart form in the slide. As seen from the chart, they are classified into 2, Antara and Bahya. Internal is subjective, external is objective. Then each one of them is further classified into Savikalpa, Nirvikalpa. Finally, under Savikalpa, further 2 divisions are made, Drishya and Shabda. So, in all, there are 6 types of practices. This is explained in detail in verse number 23. Of the 6 Abhyasas, 4 are practiced with the help of Vedantic teaching, Drishya and Shabda, that is dwelling on the consciousness inside and existence outside. This will-based practice is called Savikalpa Samadhi. Verses like this. Upeksha nama rupe dve Satchidananda tatparaha Samadhi sarvada kuriya Hrudayeva athavavahi. Always focus on Sat-chit-ananda internally or externally by ignoring the names and forms. Verse meaning is Satchidananda tatparaha. Mind is intently focused on the 3 components Sat-chit-ananda. How? By intellectually segregating the Nama Rupa. Dve Nama Rupe Upeksha. Segregating the 2 is tough because Sat-chit-ananda is mixed up with Nama Rupa in all states of our Jagrat, Swapna and Sushupti. Pure consciousness is not revealed. Therefore, segregation is only by ignoring the changing aspect. How is this practiced? By entertaining Vedantic thoughts in the mind, Hridaye. Thoughts also have 5 components, Sat-chit-ananda and Namarupa. Namarupa are in the form of emotions, love, hatred, raga, dvesha, etc. This is explained in the hand light illustration. Next slide, sir. In the hand light illustration, our focus is generally on the hand, taking the light for granted. Hand is seen or not seen because of the presence or absence of the light. Intellectual segregation is possible by ignoring the Namarupa and focusing only on the changeless Sat-chit-ananda. Not focusing on the hand, but intently focusing on the light aspect. Samadhi Abhyasa is practiced in 2 ways. Internally, with the help of thought to Chit Sakshi, and externally with the help of object to Sat existence. Finally, Krishna's message in Bhagavad Gita, Tyaktva karma palasangam nityatrupto nirashayaha karmanyabhi pravrittopi naiva kinchit karoti saha. One who is content and not dependent on external world is not bound by actions. When the mind is desireless, it does not seek any pleasure and lets the body engage in its natural actions. Mind ceases to think, I did this, I enjoy this. Actions thus performed are not binding. So practice of each one of the Samadhi Abhyasas is explained in the next verse. Hari Om Sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Sukanya, for another very nice explanation of a wonderful verse. These are all exclusively quotable verses because nowhere in the topic of meditation, this style of meditation or this classification of meditation has been given. And that is, Swamiji also highlights Vidyaranya for this. He divides all forms of meditation as Hridi or internal or Bahya. Now, for the first time, we have something called the open eye meditation. That means whenever I'm looking at the world or interacting in the world, I can still be meditative if I fulfill the following conditions. Hridi, although there are a lot of words, Drishya, Anuvidya, Shabda, Anuvidya, Savikalpa and Nirvikalpa. Whenever we make an effort to be in a state of meditation, when I am the meditator, there is an object of meditation. Let me be focused on the existence. Let me be focused on the light on every object. I'm able to see every object because of light. Now I'm making an effort. Whenever there is an effort, that is what is called Savikalpa. Some people, because of their practice or because of their grace, they are able to get into sense of an absorption. That means even when they are interacting in the world, they are completely absorbed in the divine, in and through whatever they are doing in the open eye form of meditation. The closed eye meditation, we are always aware. When I am keeping my eyes closed, a thought occurs in my mind. Now, here in Vedantic meditation, a thought is not a disturbance. The only question is, am I seeing the thought or am I focusing on the seer of the thought? Now, although I see a thought, I'm seeing a wall. That means if I keep my eyes closed and then a certain thought comes, a thought comes of an apple. All right, an apple thought has come. But who is the seer of that thought? And I have moved from the thought of the apple to the one who is seeing. Now, when I have focused on, moved from the thought of the apple to the seer, that is called Drishya Anuvidya Savikalpaka Samadhi. That means I've seen that apple, but my attention is not on the apple. And the attention is from the Drishyam to the seer. That is called Drishya Anuvidya. That means associated with that, I have come in touch with the seer. Now, who is the seer? That seer is Nityaha, Shuddhaha, Buddhaha, Muktaha, and that is me, and that is my real nature. When I use all the Upanishadic words on the seer number 3, then I have come into Shabda, Anuvidya, Antara, Savikalpaka, Samadhi. And the same thing can be done outside also. We will see as we go on. The next verse is an important verse, which will be explained to us by Dr. Sanjay Mehrotra. Dr. Sanjay, please.
Shri Gurubhyo Namah. Thank you very much, sir. In my expression also, there would be a bit of an overlap, but I think these overlaps help us to understand the concept better, and so I will go ahead anyway. The two previous verses, which of course describe Satchidananda, are abhinna or the same, which are the manifestation of Purusha, which is described in the Yoga Shastra, or Sankhya and Brahman. Most of the information in the Vedanta is actually obtained from the Sankhya philosophy, but the Vedanta doesn't accept the concepts of Sankhya. And as we discussed and we found the understanding that what is different is the Nama Rupa. The Satchidananda, which also we call it existence, consciousness, and bliss, are also present in all the Chaitanyam, which includes Chaitanya, uh, uh, all those who are Chaitanya, which includes Devata, man, and animals. And the difference is the expression of this consciousness into our brain substance, or you can call it mind also. And, we also know that all of us who are the Vedantic students have studied the Vedanta very well, but our mind is not able to implement the understanding. It continues to be attached to the world or the samsara. And as we discussed, that emotional problem continues, depression, sorrow, raga, dvesha, shadvikaras continue. Next slide, please. We have heard enough. Shravanam has happened, too much of introspection, mananam has happened. But the internalization, or what we call as Nididhyasanam, is not happening. So in the 22nd verse, Vidyaranya provides the method of internalization of knowledge. And this method is called Samadhi Abhyasa Roopa Nidhidhyasanam, which means that give some time for dwelling on the teaching. That requires a certain time dedicated. Mostly we can do it in the morning or any time, when you just sit quietly and dwell on the teaching, which is what the meditation is. Deliberately withdrawing from all transaction and dropping all roles to invoke Atma Sarupam Tada Drishtam Sarupe Avasthanam. Patanjali says that by seeing our near nature, we come to know our Atma Sarupam. Next slide, please. So what is Samadhi Abhyasa? The mixing of real nature with unreal is the Ajnanam. We have this Brahma Prapanca Aviveka, Atma Anatma Aviveka. And to internalize, we require the Samadhi Abhyasa. And the first level of this is Bahya Samadhi Abhyasa, then going to Hridaya level. Now, what is this Hridi, which is described in the next verse, I will come to, which is also is the internal Samadhi Abhyasa. And in the 23rd verse, the next level, which is the Savikalpa and Nirvikalpa, are also described. Next slide, please. Savikalpo Nirvikalpa Samadhi Dvirvidho Hridi Drishya Shabdanuvidhena Savikal Punar Vidha Dvidha Punar Dvidha Savikalpo Nirvikalpa Samadhi Dvirvidho Hridi Drashya Shabdanuvidhena Savikalpaha Punar Dvidha. Next slide, sir. In this verse, the next level of Samadhi is described, which can be Savikalpa and Nirvikalpa. And both can be external or Bahya, or internal or Antara. Where this has to be practiced? This has to be practiced in the Hridi. Hridi means heart. Hridi and Hridiyam are synonymous, but it also means the mind, because there is hardly any difference between what is Hridi and what is mind in most of our Shastras. Hridi is the seat of most of the mind's actions. This Hridi is not the anatomical heart, but is the inner being, which basically when we say, I am this, we are signifying putting our hand on the chest. That Hridi is nothing but me as an individual. So when he uses his mind, we connect it to the Hridaya. If one uses object of his Samadhi for meditation or moving in the direction of understanding the Shastra Gyan which he has encountered or understood, it is called Bahya Samadhi. And if one uses the thought, because thought is not an object in a form of an object which is visible, it is called internal Samadhi, which is the second level. And the third level is Savikalpa Punaha Dvividho. Next slide, please. So Savikalpa itself again is divided into two, which is Antaraha and Bahya. Drashya Shabda Anuvidhena, associated with objects which can be both internal and external. The object can be external in the form of object. For example, you meditate on certain object, for example, a flame or a deity or a picture, to suppress the other thought and move in the direction of knowing the higher aspect, which is the work comes in the understanding about the Vedantic understanding, which is in the form of, for example, what is that which is giving me this understanding, which is Asanga, which is Sakshi, which is Shuddham, which is Satyam, which is Nityam. So the Drashya Anuvidhena, the word Vidhena means touching, penetrating, contracting, piercing. And Drishya means an object also. There is a Vastu Alambanam used for Samadhi. So using some kind of an object to go into the state of Samadhi, but then you have to go beyond that and go into the Shabda, which is going into the higher form of Shabda, which is described in the Vedanta, which is a Vedantic word on which the Samadhi is obtained. This Vedantic word can be Asanga, Sakshi, Shuddham, Satyam, Nityam, which is Atma, because in the Vedantic meditation, you are going to go and use the Alambanam on your Sakshi Tattvam, your Chaitanyan Tattvam, which is giving the sentient to you as a jiva. This is a meaningful or powerful impacting of words in terms of understanding that what is that which is giving me ability to understand the objective world. Now that is where the examples of hand and light comes. Next slide, please. So, and everybody has talked about it. So Savikalpa uses a support of either object, either external or internal. That much we have understood. So if I ask you to look at the hand, which you see clearly, but if I remove the hand and ask you whether you see the hand, you will say, no, I don't see the hand. But we forget that why the hand was visible, because there was a light tattvam which will remain, which was there and which we did not recognize. So that part of us, which is able, which is the real pramata, which is the real seer, is always there in us, and we forget about it. We ignore it. We start connecting ourselves to the jiva, which has got the, the three types of chaitanyam, or what you can call as the waker, dreamer, and sleeper. But we have something which is beyond that, and that is what is described in most of the Shastra and Upanishad. If you meditate upon the light principle, which is equated to self or sakshi, this is a nirvikalpa state. But initially, you need the support of a bahya or a antaraha to reach the state of samadhi. You need that support. But until you drop the support and dwell upon the Satchidananda, the state of nirvikalpa will not arrive. So this is a very gradual process from the state of Savikalpa, which may be Bahaya or which may be Antara. Antara may be a thought, but you will arrive at a state when you drop everything. And that is the state of Nirvikalpa. In the following verses, the author is going to talk about these things separately. Hari Om Sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sanjay. That was a very nice and a clear explanation of this unique style of classification of meditation. Essentially, you can meditate with your eyes open, or you can meditate with your eyes closed. That inner meditation is called Hridi or Antara. And this can be further divided into object meditation or on words. What do you mean by words? Words here are the Vedantic words. We come to the last verse for today that will be explained by Sukanya once again. Sukanya ji, please.
Yes, sir. Verse 24. The purpose of this study is identifying the Sakshi Chaitanya, that is the Seer 3, and claiming it as my own. There has been a lot of overlapping in information that we present because it is Nididhyasanam. I think it's okay. In spite of gaining knowledge through Shravanam and Mananam, it has not resulted in any transformation in personality, and the emotional disturbances continue. Mixing of the 5 components, Sat-chit-ananda, nama, rupa, and lack of discrimination to segregate them is Aviveka at 2 levels. Non-discrimination between Drik, Drishya, that is Atma Anatma, is at the subjective level, and Brahma, Prapanca is at the objective level. For those whose knowledge gain through Sravanam and Mananam has not resulted in any emotional strength, they seek security from the world, and for them, the practice of any of the 6 types of unique Nididhyasanam is prescribed by the author, which were already enumerated in the previous verse by Dr. Now, this verse 24 goes like this. This verse explains the mode of practice of the first Abhyasa, Drishya Anuvigdha Savikalpa Samadhi. That is the internal thought related. Verse is like this. Kamadhya Chittaga Drishya Tat Sakshitvena Chetanam Dhyaye Drishyanuvidhoyam Samadhi Savikalpakaha. In simple terms, this practice is focusing on the consciousness principle as the illuminator of thoughts arising in the mind. Verse meaning, Kamadhya Chittaga, various thoughts arise and depart in the mind. Kamadhya Drishya means different emotional conditions of the mind, like desire, sankalpa, sandeha, shraddha, faith, dhriti, willpower or lack of willpower, hri, shyness, dhi, knowledge, bhi, fear. All these emotions are made known by Chit, the witness Sakshi, as the illuminator. However, by itself, it remains changeless. Chittaga Drishya, there are many objects in the mind in the form of thoughts, continuously arriving and departing. In the same mind, there is also the Chaitanya, Sakshi Chaitanyam, Driksh, Sat Tat Sakshitvena Chetanam, as the illuminator of thoughts. Dhyaye, may you focus on this Chaitanyam by entertaining vritti, and this practice, whereas Atma-related thoughts are entertained, is called Drishyanuvidho Savikalpa Samadhi. Next slide, sir. All our experiences are a mixture of 5 components, as said earlier. How to segregate the first 3, Sat-chit-ananda, which belong to Brahman, and focus on that. Guiding through the process of Samadhi Abhyasa, Swamiji gives the following illustration. Let's imagine sitting in an auditorium where people keep coming and going. There are chairs, there is a stage with sound systems, ACs, curtains, etc. All these varied objects are seen only because of the light in the hall. While we pay attention to the moving people, the objects, we just take the light for granted, because of which all these are seen and made known to us. It's not like we don't experience the light, but we don't pay attention to the presence of light. So, as a first step, focus only on the light and not on the objects in the hall. Then, compare the features of the light with the objects. Like, next place there. Light is constant, objects are subject to arrival departure. Light is nirakara, objects have colors and forms. Light is akhanda, objects are subject to division. Light is asanga, objects are exposed to contamination. Now, in the next slide, replace the objects in the hall with thoughts in the mind. This is a shift from external objects to internal thoughts. Focus on thoughts, analyze the nature of thoughts, and compare it with light, applying the same principle. Thoughts are fleeting, they arrive and depart like the waves in the ocean. These thoughts are known to us by something other than the thoughts, and that is the illuminator of thoughts, witness of thoughts, Sakshi Chaitanya. Thus, every thought is experienceable, known because of the presence of Sakshi Chaitanya, just as the objects in the hall are known because of the invisible light. Now, we have identified 2 separate entities, Sakshi and the thoughts. Next slide, sir. As a final step, we will compare Sakshi Chaitanyam with thoughts now, keeping in mind the 5 capsules of Vedanta taught to us by Swamiji. Thoughts are agamapayi, subject to arrival and departure. Consciousness is anagamapai, changeless. Thoughts are like waves, don't pervade the mind, but Sakshi is all-pervading. Thoughts are forms, happy thoughts, sorrow thoughts, but Sakshi is untainted nirvikara. Thoughts are divisible, but Sakshi is akhanda. Impurities in the thoughts belong to the mind, Sakshi is asanga. In brief, Antara Drishya Anavidya Savikalpa Samadhi is shifting focus from the objects in the hall to the light, then replacing the objects with thought, tracing the illuminator of thoughts, which is finally the Chaitanya Sakshi, my own self. Thus, Aham Satyam Jnanam Anantam is revealed. Though initially with the help of the all-pervading uniform light, we arrive at the witness Sakshi, it's important to note that light is an object outside of me, and the Sakshi Chaitanyam cannot be objectified because it is none other than my own self, now ready to claim Aham Brahmasmi. This Samadhi Abhyasa gets complete only with the understanding that I am the Sakshi Chaitanyam not only in my mind but behind all the minds. Kshetragnam chapima viddhi sarvakshetreshu bharata. Going further, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, I am not in all minds, but all minds are in me. Maya tatamidam sarvam jagada vyaktamurtina matsani sarvabhutani nachaham teshvavastitha. I am apparently related to the world all the time. It's only because of ignorance the relationship with the world has appeared. Let not the reality or unreality disturb my steady mind, for at no time there is any relationship with the world. These are the words of sage Vasishta to King Janaka. In the entire process of thought meditation, the words Atman and Brahman are replaced by I, with the conviction that all that is said and read during Shavanam about the nature of Atman is none other than my own nature. Ahankara of the transactional roles thus gets weakened. With this practice, the practice of internal subjective Samadhi Nididhyasa is over. The next verse will explain Antara Shabda Anuvidya Savikalpa Samadhi with the help of Vedantic words. Hari Om, sir.
Thank you very much, Sukanya ji, for a very nice explanation of this verse, which we are continuing on the whole process of meditation. Essentially, what are we doing? Wherever our mind goes, yatra yatra manoyati, tatra tatra samadaya. We should be able to have that potential to get into that state of meditation, whether I'm meditating with my eyes closed and focusing on the thoughts that come in my mind and becoming aware of the Sakshi and going into the nature of the Sakshi as Nitya, Shuddha, Buddha, or whether I'm looking at the world outside and reveling in the Vishwarupa, Ishvara that I see and being able to see Bhagwan in and through whatever I see. We will now have a quiz which we'll be able to learn about what we have studied already. I will request Dr. Anupama to ask certain questions and see how we can, how much we have understood. Dr. Anupama, please.
Thank you, sir. Starting with this verse, Kaha, Ka means space, Vayu, Agni, Jala, Urvi, the 5 elements, Deva Tiryak Naradhishu, Abhinnaha Satchidananda, Bidhyete Rupanamni. This means Chaitanyam or Brahma Tattvam is the same in every body and everything. Sat-chit-ananda is abhinnaha, not different. So if Satchidananda is same in everything and everybody, why don't animals, plants, and mountains behave like us human beings?
For the reason being that although there is Satchidananda in everybody, the reflecting media in all of them, which is called the Upadhi, there is Upadhi Veda. Some of them have the mind, which is refined to various extent, and depending upon the refinement of the mind, those without mind are able to reflect only the existence aspect. Those with the mind, like plants, are able to reflect the bhati or the consciousness aspect to some extent. And with a greater evolution, we're able to reflect Sat-chit-ananda differentially. Please explain.
That's right, sir. As you said, Chaitanyam or Brahma Tattvam is the same in everybody, but due to absence of mind, the Chit aspect is relatively unmanifest. We take the example of fire. If we take two different objects like water and an iron ball and heat water with fire, it manifests only the heat, the temperature, whereas an iron ball manifests both heat and light. This is called Aupadika Beda, totally not related to the Vastava Beda. Satchid-ananda is abhinna because it is Vastava, whereas Rupa, Namani, Vidyate, they differ. So, whether Jada or Chetana, all of us have Asti Bhati Priya and Nama Rupa. It is a Nama Rupa aspect which is variable. And although as human beings we have a very highly evolved mind, if we allow the Avarana Shakti to function, Satya, Anruta differentiation is lacking in us. And as a result, we suffer samsara, which is akin to sitting on a cardboard chair. Next question, please. What is Nididhyasanam? Please select the best answer. Is it internalization of Shravanam? Is it alert living, bridging the dichotomy between my rational and emotional mind? Is it Jnanam induced transformation of my personality? Is it replacing the word Brahman by the word AHAM, or all of the above? Please unmute.
All of the
Yeah, it looks to me like all of the above, but let me go. This is important because Nididhyasanam is certainly internalization of Shravanam. Nididhyasanam is alert living. It is bridging the dichotomy between my rational and my emotional mind. And it is Jnanam-induced transformation of my personality. And it is replacing the word Brahman by Aham. So it is all of the above.
That's right, sir. So what does the word Samadhi Abhyasa Roopa Nidhidhyasanam mean? Is it a total withdrawal from Vyavaharika activities? A total disidentification from the Ahankara roles like father, mother, teacher, brother? Is it right place, time, posture, asana, withdrawal from sense organs, etc.? Is it an exclusive devotion of some time for contemplating upon scriptures? Is it approaching a guru to clear doubts?
When you pay attention to the class today, this was there in Dr. Sanjay's presentation. Samadhi Abhyasa Roopa Nidhidhyasanam means exclusive devotion of some time for contemplation upon scriptures.
That's right, sir. The cause of samsara is, please select the best option, Satya Anrita Mithuni Karanam, Brahma Prapanca Viveka Mithya Anatma Jnanam, knowing that we cannot rely upon the world, a sense of independence and security, or none of the above.
Cause of samsara is Satya Anrita Mithuni Karanam.
That's right, sir.
Can I ask you a question? Where does this Satya Anrita Mithuni Karanam discussed?
It's from the Brahma Sutra.
In the Brahma Sutra, where is it one of the Brahma Sutras?
That Adhyasa Bhasha.
Correct. Before the Brahma Sutra, Adi Shankara gives a great bhashyam called the Adhyasa Bhashyam. And this Satya Anrita Mithuni Karanam is in the Adhyasa Bhashyam of Brahma Sutras.
Okay. What is the primary component of Nididhyasanam? Is it a perfect physical posture? Is it Samadhi Abhyasa? Is it objectification of Brahman? Clearing the mind of all thoughts? Absorption in Aham, Brahma Asmi thoughts, or none of the above?
It is absorption in Aham Brahmasmi thoughts.
That's right, sir. So, Nididhyasanam will lead me to moksha, jnanam, nischaya jnanam, aparoksha jnanam, krama mukti, or would it put me on the corridor that connects bondage to freedom?
If I can go through each of them, Nididhyasanam will lead me to moksha. Certainly not. Moksha is our birthright. Moksha is our innate nature, and therefore it is not a goal to be achieved. It is a siddha vastu. So Nididhyasana will not lead to moksha. Will
Can I
Nididhyasanam
just interrupt there, please? Swamiji says that the Mahavakya is not Aham Brahma Bhavishyami, but it is Aham Brahma Asmi.
that
There
is
is
my
nothing to become. Yeah.
mistake. Moksha, Nididhyasana will not lead me to Jnanam because Jnanam comes through Shravanam. Nischaya Jnanam is a function of Mananam. So Nididhyasanam, Aparoksha Jnanam looks like the right answer to me.
That's right.
Kramamukti, certainly not. Puts me on the corridor that connects bondage to freedom. There is no corridor that connects bondage to freedom. So the answer should be Aparoksha Jnanam.
Yes, sir. Now, in this verse, we see the phrase Satchidananda Tat Paraha Bhavet. Now, please select the best answer. Does this mean focus the mind on Ishvara, Nama Rupa, filter out Nama Rupa of an object and only focus upon Asti Bhati Priya, filter all thoughts out of the mind, chant Nididhyasanam shlokas, or all of the above?
The answer should be filter out Nama Rupa of an object and focus on Asti Bhati Priya.
That's right. Upeksha means filter. Okay. In this verse, Samadhim Sarvada Kuryat Hridaye Va Bahihi. Hridaye Va Ataha Bahihi. Now, the difference between Samadhi in the Hridayi or Bahihi is, what is the difference? Is it Samadhi indoors and outdoors? Is it Samadhi on thought and objects? Samadhi on self and others? Samadhi on Chit and Sat? Samadhi on the original consciousness and reflected consciousness, or all of the above?
So the question is very specific. What is the difference between Samadhi internal, that is Hridi, and Samadhi outside, Bahihi? Samadhi internal is on thoughts, Samadhi Bahihi is on objects. So the answer must be B.
That's right. Whether Antara or Bahya, Drishya or Shabda Anuvidya Savikalpa Samadhi, we have to focus on Asti Bhati aspect of thought or object. We have to fix our attention on just one thought or object. We have to focus on all attributes of Ishvara. We have to clear thoughts from our mind. And for a fixed period of time, should we remain in proper posture for meditation?
Whether Antarya or Bahya, Drishya or Shabda Anuvidya, Savikalpa or Nirvikalpa, we have to focus on the Asti Bhati aspect of thought or object. A is the answer.
That's right.
Oh,
Thank
good.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you all speakers, Dr. Anupama ma'am, Sukanya ma'am, Dr. Sanjay Mehrotra, and Hegde sir for an extraordinary session. Anupama ma'am, thank you for this delightful quiz, which so quickly reveals whether we have understood what was taught right now or not. Thank you. These are powerful, loaded verses, and all of us need to watch this class again and again to understand their full meaning. They also give us very practical knowledge about meditation, which is the only way we can internalize Vedanta, making it Aparoksha Jnanam. Thank you, dear viewers, for your unstinted support throughout our journey. Let us meet again on Monday, the 23rd of June, as we resume our Bhagavad Gita, Gita for inner transformation, for inner freedom and transformation classes, where we will study the 14th chapter, Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga. Friends, as all of you are aware, Param Vedanta offers Guru Dakshina to all our gurus twice a year, once during Guru Purnima, that is just around the corner, and during Gita Jayanti in December. Right now, the option to offer our contribution is open, and the bank account details are displayed on your screen and also shared in all the WhatsApp and Telegram groups. All the amount contributed will reach our gurus, where they are engaged in creating so many programs to promote our wonderful history and culture. Please remember to fill the Google form after you make your contribution. Thank you very much, and we conclude with our Shanti Patha. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you.